Well, I've returned to the scene of the proverbial crime. This guy's down in the gully. How are you? Well, early Sunday morning. I'm out on a little ride. Not that early, it's about 10:30. It's actually late for me. But I stopped at my local picnic table. One of my picnic tables that I stop at. It's out of the way. Got a guy over here, but other than that, it's not so bad. And I want to touch off on a few things today that that are obviously at the forefront of the news cycle in Canada, North America, and that is the forest fire situation. And obviously, the people down in the U.S. have experienced some of our smoke going across their northern border from our forest fires up here. I'm to understand there are 1,000 forest fires going on now, and out of control. There are people in the news media down there, all sorts of news media. It's all across the U.S. reporting on our forest fires. And Donald Trump even released a statement, being very critical of the situation with regards to how we are combating the forest fires and how our lack of prevention is increasing the forest fires. A U.S. senator down there has even gone so far as to want to put forth a bill that could potentially freeze the assets of Doug Ford and Mark Carney. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. Not so dissimilar to how Mark Carney froze the assets during the trucker convoy, the bank accounts of people up here. So some of Mark Carney's dirty globalist tactics might be used upon him. I don't really think that will happen. I really don't. I think that's all smoke and mirrors, pardon the pun, but we'll see. And, you know, a lot of people are referencing how much money we gave Ukraine since the war started and how that money could have been better spent on a multitude of things. But right now, fire mitigation, water bomber purchase, water bomber crew training, and everything that goes with you're not going to totally stop forest fires, but you can prevent them in a lot of cases, and you can have better forest management that would decrease the severity of them. And a lot of people, including myself, have said in many videos and have said for years that a very real cause of these forest fires is arson. The climate hoax, as I call it, a lot of people are on the fence with that, even on the right, like myself. They don't want to delve too deep into that by saying it's a hoax. I'm convinced it's a hoax, and so you have to get a group of people that want to go out and keep this climate hoax going, because it's a multi-billion-dollar hoax. And so if you have to go out and pay a bunch of people to start fires, well, that's what happens. And I believe that truly is what's happening. Not in every case. There are irresponsible campers, hikers, lightning strikes, power lines, transformers blow up, start a fire, catalytic converters from cars start fires. There are other reasons that start forest fires. People throwing cigarette butts, blah, blah, blah. But with the frequency of the fires every year for the past 5-6 years, what else could it be? It's a combination of poor forest management and arson. And like I said, you can say it's climate change. I don't buy into that for 1 second. So Donald Trump is threatening to put tariffs on more Canadian goods, a percentage of tariffs to cover off on the pain and suffering of his U.S. citizens by inhaling our tree smoke. And the other senator wants to hit them even harder. So whether that happens or not, I don't know. All I know is that Toronto was blanketed with fire. I lived it, I videoed it, and it was the worst I've ever seen. Then it smelled like a garbage fire on the Thursday. Friday wasn't as bad, but Wednesday, Thursday were the two bad days. In my house, it smelled like plastic burning. And I have a pretty good air filter in my house, and it was going continuously, and I still smelled the forest fire, a garbage fire. So, say what you will about climate change. Say what you will about whether we can ever do better with our forest because it's so large. At the end of the day, I don't remember this growing up as a kid. I really don't, and I certainly don't remember. Obviously, there's been bad forest fires. I understand that, including in the U.S. But it just seems that the size of them now and the frequency of them and how many of them, it adds up that something is going wrong, other than Donald Trump, other than it's Pierre Poilievre's fault, and other than climate change. I'm thinking a lot of it is purposely orchestrated to further collapse our country, to bring it further into chaos. Well, the second thing I want to talk about, this morning before I left the house, I watched this video, and it was down in the States. I believe it was on a university campus. It was like a Charlie Kirk type gathering, but it was a woman. It was a conservative woman, a young lady, attractive young lady, long blonde hair, I would say about 22, 23 years old. And she was trying to have an open dialogue with university students, which, you know, we pretty much know how that's going to go. University students, for the most part, they are unhinged leftists, communist Marxists that have been indoctrinated to behave the way they do. So this video, you can expect the way it went down. But I will use this specific example. There was a 6'3", 6'4", very out of shape white young man, about 22 years old, 23. He had a man bun, and so this young girl is very calm, very well spoken, and like I said, attractive young lady. And she is talking very calm to the crowd, trying to individually get to them to talk about their grievances and what they want to talk about. But this 300-pound estrogen-raged beta feminized liberal didn't want to have a cordial or courteous dialogue with this young lady. He just freaked out. He just started screaming at her and calling her names and you know, being aggressive, being a very aggressive person. And he's a big dude. He's a big dude, bigger than me. And so I had to stop watching the video because you know, too much of those videos, it gets to me. It really does. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. They can't have an open civilized dialogue. They have to resort to very aggressive language. They have to resort to physicalities. And you know, and this guy, as far as I know in this video, he didn't get physical with anyone. But you know, as much as he's a limp-wristed estrogen-enraged liberal beta feminazi, a 300-pound 6'4" man can still cause a significant amount of damage to younger, small women. I understand this. So a friend of mine that I grew up with, he grew up in Parkdale. I grew up in the Junction. We didn't grow up rich. We grew up poor. I've mentioned that in many of my videos. And we grew up. We didn't grow up in you know, we didn't grow up in prison. We didn't grow up you know, doing severe or very serious criminal activity growing up, but we grew up on the street. And so he watched the same video, and we were talking about it, and he says to me, and now I have to admit, he does have a bit of a temper. He says to me, obviously there was no men in the crowd to silence him. Now my response to him was, well, that is quite possible. There were no men in that audience to silence him physically, because it's on a university campus and he's surrounded by like-minded people, very radicalized, angry liberals. So, and I also said the reason that the left does this is because that guy was surrounded by police. And if he wasn't surrounded by uniformed police, there's undercover police there at these events. And these people know that, because the same people that employ the police are the same people that are yelling at this conservative woman. They're all the same. They've stacked the deck. They hired police to protect them, to back their cause. They've placed judges in place, liberal judges, to take care of them if it does reach the court system. They have liberal judges that will release them, that will find them not guilty. And they have a multitude of politicians that are all the same. They're all the 300-pound, 6'4" man bun liberals, or the purple dyed septum ring wearing liberal Karens. They're all the same. They've stacked the deck. So, and these people in the crowd know that. They can act they can act like this guy was acting. Now, I will say, now, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not advocating for violence. But like I said, he's a big guy. But I'm telling you, there are girls in my neighborhood, especially growing up, that would kick the shit out of this guy. Women in my neighborhood growing up would beat the shit out of him, knock him out cold, then go into his house and beat the shit out of his parents. That's what these people don't understand. Now, I'm not saying there's not people on the left and people that are staunch liberals that aren't physically capable of taking care of themselves, because there are. I know them, okay? But these people have been weaponized. They have been emboldened by the system. What prompts a 6'4" man bun, out of shape guy What prompts him to get so aggressive with a young lady that is trying to be respectful? She's even trying to calm things down, but it's not even like she was acting. She really was a nice person. And this guy was cursing at her. Right away, this guy knows he could never be with a woman like that. And right away, when that guy wakes up in the morning, he's already pissed off at the world because he sees a woman like this on a university campus that he has no chance of having a relationship with. So he's going to freak out on her. And this is what's happened in society. That's one of the reasons he's freaking out on her. The main reason he's freaking out on him is because that's the way the liberalism has made society. They have made it this way. I grew up, I was born in 69, I grew up in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, in the 90s. I had a great fucking life. I had a great life. I really did. I really did. Hey, I wasn't rich. My parents were poor, but I had a great life. I had a fucking great network of friends. I had girlfriends. I had good-looking girlfriends, a plethora of good-looking girlfriends. I was lucky, okay? I was lucky. But it's not all to do with luck. It's how you conduct yourself. It's the people you surround yourself with, and it's how you were raised. The way society is now, it's not giving these people, these 22-year-old or however old this guy was, it's not giving them any life skills to go out into the world and function as a rational adult. It isn't. What our parents didn't do for myself or my friends, and we all grew up the same way. We all grew up poor, but we all had the necessities of life. I have to say that. And a lot of kids that I knew didn't have that. So I was lucky in that regard. But whatever our parents didn't do to support us, we did. Each other, our friends did. And, we grew up having street fights. We grew up having bar fights. We grew up, going to the beach and acting like wild people. But we stayed, for the most part, within, we didn't get too crazy, is what I'm trying to say. And, to this day, like I was out with two of my lifelong friends yesterday. My friend Ralph, who had a stroke around 4 or 5 months ago, and my lifelong friend Rob. And, we went up to visit my buddy Ralphie, and, we talk about the old times, and it's hilarious. And we correlate those old times, or we compare them to how things are going now. My friend Rob has 2 kids. He's got a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old, I believe. And, they're good kids, but it's not the same. Like, what we did when we were kids, it would completely scare the living shit out of most kids that age now. It's just different times. And, to reiterate, I'm really lucky and glad I grew up when I did, because I feel really bad for the kids now. A lot of them are depressed. A lot of them are upset. A lot of them are angry. They're yelling and screaming at people for no reason. And, they think they have all the answers. A university student at the age of 20, I don't know how old, just say early 20s. And they're yelling and screaming like they got all the answers. A lot of these people haven't even left their state, their city, their province, their town. They have no life experience. They've never even had a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And they're trying to impress upon someone 56 years old that, I'm a boomer, I'm an old guy, and, we can hardly wait for you to die. Well, no. I learned more in a long weekend about life than you've learned up into your 22 years of age. People this day and age, they're the most informed people ever because of the technology we have, but they are the most uninformed because they have to solely rely on what's in front of them, their device, their PC, their laptop. They don't go out and experience life. They don't understand what life is other than what mainstream media and what their college professor and their teachers have impressed upon them and taught them. And a lot of these people, like I've said, have been handpicked into those positions to form the next generation of robots, AI. That's essentially what we have now in these young kids. It's AI. They just go around spewing the same things over and over, and they don't know how. They don't know how to have rational conversations. They don't know how to have conflict resolution. They don't know how to de-escalate situations. They don't know how to do any of that, and they don't want to. They just want to resort to violence. But a lot of these people that want to resort to violence aren't capable of violence, is what I'm trying to say. They're not capable. They don't know what violence is. They don't know what getting attacked by 4 or 5 men are. And listen, now let me back this up. I'm using personal experience. I've been attacked by multiple parties with weapons and everything. I've been through those situations. I've had my face fucked up. Okay? I know you think maybe, oh, that's impossible. I'm only kidding. I've never had to spend any time in the hospital, but I've been in some nasty fights in my life, and so I know what it's like to punch someone in the face, and I know what it's like to be punched in the face. That's what I will say. A lot of these people that are behaving like this have never been punched in the face, and they wouldn't even know how to throw a punch. They wouldn't even know. They would throw like a hissy slap, and they don't understand who that person that they are potentially being aggressive to, what they're potentially or what they are capable of doing in return. And when that happens, it's a fuck around and find out stage, and you will be at the find out stage. And a lot of these people, I'm telling you, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They really don't. You know, a prime example is that 33-year-old Canadian woman that I did a video on a couple days ago. And you know, I said she was 17 in the video, the girl that she hit. And a lot of people are saying, oh, she was 14, she was 15, she was 16. Okay, listen. I got a lot of factotums on there, and I should be correct in bringing facts. I understand that. The facts that I brought, what I thought were the facts I brought to that video, is what I heard from news reports. She was 17. Then if you do a quick Google search, it's 16. And then a lot of people are saying she was 14. Regardless, she was a young girl. We seen the video. She got slapped by that 33-year-old deranged leftist, okay? Now, the deranged leftist is being held in custody until her first court date, August 4th, and she's charged with a bunch of assault charges and endangering youth and whatever. Some serious charges. Then, you know, maybe she will do time in a U.S. jail. Then after she does time in the U.S. jail, she'll be deported back to Canada. Maybe that's the case. I'm still thinking a deal is going to be cut and she is going to be sent back to Canada without charge. That's my gut feeling. It's just a theory. Now, that's, you know, obviously that's open to interpretation. That's arguably that's going to happen. But this is what I mean, though. You got someone living in the States that is living there illegally for almost 2 years, and she actually videoed it. I found this out, that she actually videoed and released a video of her slapping this girl. It was her own video. So, but that's what I mean. That is the mindset of the left. They have a very, very quick propensity to escalate to violence. It's like these people that are getting killed by ICE agents down in the States. What do we have? 4 or 5 people killed by ICE agents? I don't know how many it is. Someone put it in the comment section. My thought process, or what I've communicated in my videos prior, is if you want to get into an argument, or you want to get into a physical altercation with an armed federal agent, okay, they are wearing tactical gear. They are wearing, I believe, level 4 plate carriers. They are wearing their sidearms on tactical holsters. They have long guns. So you want to go up there with your estrogen-induced rage, and you want to put hands on one of these cops, these federal agents. Okay, so best case scenario, you're not even going to get arrested. Worst case scenario is you're going to be killed. You're going to be unalived by one of these cops. These cops are on edge too. Don't think these cops are super highly trained and super genius people. They are everyday regular citizens that have chosen a life in law enforcement for whatever reason. Okay? Then you give them a bunch of firearms, and you give them a bunch of laws that they think are backing them, and this is what happens. If a cop remotely perceives himself or herself in danger of being run over by a vehicle, or someone's grabbing for their weapon, they are going to unalive you immediately. The old cop saying is, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. They will end your life. So the way I look at these people, these unhinged liberal Karens and man bun Darrens, you don't want to live. You want to go out and get unalived by police. My advice to everyone is to avoid the police. The police aren't there to help you. When they show up on the situation, you got to remember, they are an armed gang. They have a gang mentality. And when you lay hands on one of them, that gang mentality is no different than what you see in the hood with the gang mentality. It's that gang against our gang. Their gang is against every gang. So if you want to go out and be made a martyr, and you want to stand up and free Huey and BLM and free Palestine and all that fucking nonsense, there's a very good chance you're going to be unalived. The percentages are increasing that the police will unalive you. So go out, go do it. You're cannon fodder. You think Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, you think what's her name, Nancy Pelosi, you think any one of those liberal snakes give a shit if you actually get killed by a cop? Like, come on, man, are you foolish? Smarten up, please smarten up. They don't care. All they care about is lining their pockets and making sure their bunker is stocked with the finest caviar and finest champagne for when they have to go live in the sewer, while we're all fighting for the scraps up here. We all don't have an expense account like Mark Carney on his jet, or people that are in his employ billing hotel expenses all over the country, limo expenses, Uber expenses. Dougie Ford, some guy billing hotel expenses, 16 grand worth. You know, we don't have that luxury, okay? They do. And they are taking full advantage of us and full advantage of that, because they know that the decline is soon. They are living as high as they can, because we are all going to be living as low as we possibly can be soon. That's my Sunday morning rant today. If you got any questions, comments, put it in the comment section, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye. Well, I've returned to the scene of the proverbial crime in, I guess it would be about January, thereabouts. I was down here and I was doing a video, and I was walking down this trail right here, and right where my bike is, or actually, you know what? I think it was up there, just up there. There were some construction trailers, and as I was walking out of this construction site, one of the supervisors came out and started giving me the what for. So I didn't like the way he was talking to me, so I had to give him the what for. It's on video. I'll attach that video at the end of this video. But they're in here doing a construction project. This guy's down in the gully. How are you? Nice, eh? It's nice down there now. Yeah, good. Hi, buddy. How you doing? You going for a swim? Little dog down there. What are you doing up there? Down there, I should say. I'm up here. Anyhow, have a good walk. So, yeah, so they were doing a remediation project down there to make the Humber Creek more of a flow. And you can hear it. Like before, this was stagnant water, right? So now it's all, it's a lot more actually natural looking, and you can hear it moving. So, mission accomplished. I would imagine Dougie Ford pocketed a lot of money for this project. Maybe some of the money bags are buried around here. I should bring a shovel and a metal detector, and we can break into one of Dougie Ford's bank accounts. So, oh, and I'm without my GoPro today, so I'm filming everything on my phone, so I can't really mount it on my bike. The stabilization on the phone doesn't work out too well. But I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna go check it out. So obviously, or maybe not obviously, but this is not natural. This has all been placed here. This was done last year. I've done a video on this part before. And the whole premise of this project was to keep this water moving the way it is. And it's moving at a good pace now. You see the stepped waterfalls. Goes into the underpass, the tunnel. Very nice. Very nice. I don't want to creep this lady out over there with her dog. I think I already startled her a little bit, so I'll give her her distance. But yeah, it's nice what they did. Dog's loving it down there.